going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now,
Jimothy.
Now, ladies and gents, we are back with a deck profile, something which I haven't done on the channel in a short while, mainly due to things going on in my actual home renovations and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, ladies and gents, we are back with a profile, and we are back with appliances. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get straight into the profile. So starting us off, we have triple appliances socket roll. If you don't know what the appliances do, they're a bit of a gimmicky, fun, casual deck, nothing too competitive. And they both basically focus on link summoning and controlling a board with various link monsters. Now, what Appliances Socket Roll allows you to do, it's a free special summon if you control another appliance or monster. Also, if another copy of itself is special summoned to the field, you can special summon one from deck, which sounds a little bit confusing, but it does synergize nicely with the next card, which is Triple Appliancer Copy Buckle. So this basically allows you to copy the effect, copy the name of a monster on field and special summon it. So you can imagine if you have your Appliances Socket Roll on field, you can copy Socket Roll's name, special summon this, then special summon another Appliances Socket Roll on from your deck straight to your field. This deck does walk straight into Nibiru, ladies and gents, but like I said, it is definitely a fun deck for the most part. Next up, we have Triple Appliancer Breakabuncle. He's basically protection. You can banish him from the graveyard. You can also pitch him from hand to graveyard to prevent your monsters from being destroyed by battle for one attack, and also you take no damage for that battle. Not as useful as the others, but we're just playing for his name basically. So Triple Appliancer Breakabuncle, and that is it for the main deck monsters, to be honest. Moving on, we have Triple Formod Skipper. So Formod Skipper, fantastic in this deck. You can actually reveal a link monster in your extra deck, and then this becomes one name of the material for that extra deck revealed monster, which is nice because we have a lot of link ones in this deck, so it's easy to get into our extra deck basically. And then obviously once this card hits the graveyard, it is then able to then search out a level 5 or higher Cyberse monster, which is obviously going to be probably the best common card printed in 2020, which is Parallel Exceed, the newest card printed in 2020. So Parallel Exceed, what this allows you to do is you can special summon this to a zone a link monster points to when you link summon, and then you can special summon another Parallel Exceeds from deck. They both become level 4 and their attack and defense is halved. But basically you just go into this to be able to either go into some rank 4 XYZ plays or just further your link plays, ladies and gents. Next up, I think it's criminal to play decks like this without any kind of main deck pseudo boss monster presence. So Abominable Unchained Soul is a problem. Free special summon if one of your cards gets blown up. You can pitch a card from hand to graveyard to pop a card on field, and when this card gets destroyed either by battle or card effect, it gets to special summon itself back from the graveyard and then goes back into your deck after doing so, which is really powerful. Dino Wrestler Pancratops, ladies and gents, he needs no introduction. You know what he does already. There's a reason why he is at 1. However, the next secret, saucy, spicy tech of a boss monster is Dogmatica Nexus. This is probably one of the overlooked Dogmaticas, but what this card allows you to do is you can target 4 either Synchro, XYZ, Link, fusion monsters in the graveyard. Special summon this card, then banish those targets. Also, when this card attacks into a opponent's special summon monster, you can blow up all special summon monsters your opponent controls, which is absolutely fantastic. 3200 attack, so it is a bit of a big beat stick, but you can proc its effect over and over and over again, which is really powerful. The reason why it's easy to summon in this deck is because you do so much link summoning, and by turn 2 you could potentially have 4 link monsters in the graveyard, which meets the requirement of this, even in potentially turn 1 if you manage to play your card right and you get Parallel Exceed out. So definitely a nice little tech for this, ladies and gents. Don't sleep on this card. I'm putting this card into a lot of rogue decks. It's quite powerful actually, because you can also banish the monsters from your opponent's graveyard. It doesn't just have to be your own, but obviously you can control your own graveyard, hence why I'm just running this at 1. Definitely a card that is slept on, ladies and gents. Dogmatica Nexus. Next up for hand traps, double effect Veiler, nothing more needs to be said about that. Now ladies and gents, onto the spells. So we are running 4 copies of the field spell, which is Appliancer Electro Lyrical World. So this is a rota, it allows for some recursion when you link summon. It's really powerful, so you do want to see this card. It also allows you to change over your monsters or your link monsters in the main monster zone, which is something that you potentially want to do, especially with the extra deck monsters that we have. So triple electrical lyrical Appliancer World. We are also running triple Appliancer Reuse. This is an in-archetype monster reborn, and the material is actually shuffled into the deck when it leaves the field. Not a hard one to return, ladies and gents, so you do not mind seeing multiples in your hand. Next up, we are playing 1 Appliancer Test. This is not as useful as obviously the Reuse, which is the monster reborn, but you can target an Appliancer link monster you control and special summon any number of link 1s to that monster zone, arrows that to the zones that link monster points to, which potentially allows you to go into a link 4 or just basically just further your plays, but they do get banished when they leave the field. Hence why I'm only running this at 1, because it is very situational. Next up, we are running 1 machine duplication. I did want to run this at 2, ladies and gents, because as you've seen, most of the monsters in this deck are machine type, which have like 100 or 0 attack, so it's easy access with your machine duplication. I'm only running it at 1. I don't know where my other one is gone, but machine dupe's definitely something that you can include in this deck. We're also running Dark Eruption. So target 1 dark monster with 1500 or less attack in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. So if you noticed, a lot of our main deck monsters have less than 1500 attack. In fact, their attack's more or less negligible. So it's just a nice bit of recursion. It's basically a hand neutral card, but it allows you to just cycle back through some of your used resources, which I think is quite valuable, to be honest. Next up, we're running 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Book of Moon for a bit of interruption. And we're also running triple Call by the Grave. It's a rogue deck, ladies and gents, so hand traps cripple this deck. Nibiru destroys this deck in a heartbeat, ladies and gents. I'm not even gonna lie. So yeah, triple Call by the Grave. Next, onto the traps. I kind of like to play this deck as a bit of a mid-rangey type deck, hence why I'm running 2 Solemn Strikes. It's very useful going second, especially with this deck, which is quite defensive, and then obviously going first, it's really powerful. You can potentially put in the Code Breaker stuff. I have seen a few builds where people are running the Code Breaker stuff, but I myself am trying to avoid going down the same route as everybody else, so I decided to play it as a bit of a mid-rangey type deck where you can go first and you potentially can go second quite effectively. So double Lost Wind as well. This is obviously a nice bit of interruption. Also, it recurs itself when your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck. And we are also running 1 Witch's Strike and 1 World Legacy Sorrow. Probably one of the only decks apart from its own in-archetype deck where you can actually use this card, which is an Omni Negate. And then Witch's Strike, I just decided to throw this in just to see if it was viable. Very situational, but hey ho, it is what it is. Next up, we are onto the extra deck, ladies and gents. Now we are running double Appliancer Saltopus. This is the control aspect of the deck, and this is the kind of thing that you want to keep on board. So he cannot be targeted by your opponent's attacks or card effects if it is linked. Also, if an Appliancer monster that is not linked to this is destroyed by a battle, you can draw 1 card, which is really powerful. Also, Appliancer monster that is co-linked to this card, if it battles an opponent's monster, it gets to gain a attack boost equal to the number of co-link cards co-linked to this card, which means that you can actually boost one of your monsters up to 3500 attack, which can beat over most things actually, which is really powerful. So yeah, I do believe that this deck is looking for some more support, ladies and gents, so it's going to be interesting to see when that comes. Double Appliancer Dry Drake basically shuffles around the monsters in your main monster zone, and also if it's not co-linked, I believe it can't be destroyed by battle. So yeah, definitely a 2 of. The big daddy boss monster of them all, probably my favorite card in this deck, is Appliancer Laundry Dragon. So basically, at the start of damage step, you can actually destroy a card that battles this and do damage equal to that monster's attack, and that is destroyed. Also, you can also banish a opponent's monster that battles this card, which is just absolutely crazy. So you can imagine a card that is linked to Saltopus, co-linked to Saltopus. It can't be what is it? Let me just say, cannot be. Yeah, so if it's linked to Saltopus, ladies and gents, it's really difficult to get rid of. What you do need to bear in mind is all of the Appliancer link monsters can't be used as link material the turn they are summoned. But Laundry Dragon, definitely the most powerful one, cannot attack directly, unfortunately, which is a bit of a drawback for this card, but very, very powerful indeed, especially for a rogue deck like this. Next up, we are playing one Appliancer Vacuolifant. So what this card allows you to do is pop a card in the main monster zone. If it is co-linked, if it is not co-linked, you send one card from your hand to the graveyard to pop a card on field. So quite useful. You can also attack directly, which is really, really good. Again, can't be used as link material the turn it is link summoned. And then finally, for the Appliancer stuff, we're running one Appliancer Kappa Scale. He basically allows you to tribute himself to special summon a Appliancer monster from the graveyard. Hence why I'm only playing him at 1. It takes a bit of setup and is not really that useful apart from that one ability. So yeah. Now for the supplementary engine, we are running one Relinquished Anima. As you've seen, ladies and gents, some of our monsters are level 1. So being able to just actually go into Relinquished Anima if your opponent doesn't play around it and just snatch one of their monsters is very, very effective. So one Relinquished Anima, one Nightmare Phoenix obviously, and one Update Jammer. Nothing needs to be said about those. This actually plays into being able to finish off your opponent, and Nightmare Phoenix is Nightmare Phoenix. Next, for the Link 3s, we're running one Topologic Trisbana, Back Row Hate, see you later, and one Decode Talker. I didn't actually realize that Decode Talker is a bit of a negator, and I do not believe it is once per turn. So it gains 500 attack for each monster that it's linked to. Also, you can tribute monster that this card points to negate a spell, trap, or effect that is activated and destroy that card. So if your opponent does not play around this, you can actually just use their own monster to negate one of their effects that they're going to activate, which is pretty cool. Quick effect as well, by the way, so yeah. And then finally, we have the potential game enders. So Amphibious Swamp Ship Ambler Whale just has a multitude of effects. It gains attack. It also can special summon a Link 3 from your graveyard. It's just really, really good card. It's also a machine, so there's a bit of synergy in there. And then we have Unchained Abomination, which just screams out all-round destruction. When this card link summoned, especially in a simplified game state, it's very, very difficult to get over. So yeah, one Unchained Abomination. And that is it, ladies and gents. Not the most competitive deck, definitely a fun deck, something that you could just mess about with your friends or even try and take to locals and see how you get on. But as it is what it is. So we find ourselves at the end of the video. Were there any interesting tech ideas that I should have included in this deck? If so, get at me in that comment section below. And as always, if you did enjoy this content, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.